Hello everyone, and hopefully it's not too windy out here today. But I had said that I had been thinking about these range finding scopes for crossbows, right? And I told you that I wasn't sure if I thought I liked them or not. Excuse the extremely loud, crunchy snow. Let me get to my spot here. But I was trying to decide over the last couple weeks here, do I like these range finding scopes? Sorry, I moved a little bit to try to get out of the wind here, but are these range finding scopes worth it as a crossbow hunter? And I've really been giving this a lot of thought because I think for some hunters, they're great. For others, I think it's an unneeded expense. So I guess what I mean by that is if you are a private landowner hunter, right? You are on your own private land. I think you should know the ranges. And that being said, if you watch my videos, I hunted on my neighbor's land this year and with my handicapped brother Mike, and we missed one because I got the range wrong, right? But I hadn't been able to be over there and put in the time I needed since I moved the blind to make sure that I had the ranges correct. After that, I made sure I had the ranges correct, and I did not have a problem over there, right? So I think as long as you are on your own land or even on state land, public land, a friend's land, and you go out ahead of time and I even put up stakes, those little plow stakes you can get at Menards or all these other different hardware stores, right? Just the really skinny, have a little reflector on the top. I've put those in at 20, 30 yards, and then I know my distance. I feel like if you do that, then there's really not a need to spend the money on these really expensive scopes, right? Now, if you are hunting public land and you're running out and, you're trying all these different spots, right? I could see how some of these range finding scopes would be extremely beneficial. Granted, they are expensive, right? I think Barnett has their Buck Ops. I think that's the cheapest one I've seen so far. Okay, so something to note, as I was editing this, I just wanted to kind of go and make sure my facts were 100% correct. And I am right in my thinking. It isn't, a Buck Ops isn't like the Burris Oracle X, where that finds your range and adjust your crosshair accordingly. With the Buck Ops one, what happens is you can range find, and then you have your crosshairs in there like normal, right? So you still have to pick the correct crosshair. It's not gonna pick that for you, but you do get your range, and I think that is probably pretty appealing for the price, right? And that's why that one kind of jumps out to me is just the price, right? So I'm on here. It's $600 on here, but I've seen it on sale for like $500. I think at Lancaster Archery. Now, if you get their basic range finding scope, there's no recording in that, right? Now, they also have the other scope, which is called the Prime Time Viewer. That one does not appear to have range finding, but then you get the low light and you get the ability to record. So I'd like to see those kind of put together. I think that would be pretty cool. But I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, so we'll get back to the video. Because you can get it in the Raptor package, right? With their Raptor BCX, and that's around $1,000. But you get that range finding scope with it, right? Whereas the Burris Oracle X, that's pretty pricey.
the channel Death by Bungie, he loves his Burris Oracle X's, right?
The ultimate crossbow setup. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Ultimate, perfect. Those are pretty high standards, aren't they? But I gotta tell you, now that I've completed a season with this setup, with the Burris Oracle X scope and the Killer Instinct SWAT X1, I gotta tell you, this, to me, is crossbow perfection.
So there's someone who has shown that they can be very beneficial. And he does a lot of state land hunting. You know, he does a lot of hunting in different places where I think that those would be very beneficial. Now, that being said, as a private landowner, I think they'd also be nice, but is it worth the cost? Not for me, right? And probably not for your average hunter. I don't think, you know, just as this is from the perspective of someone who hasn't had one. Let's be clear there. But I don't think I'm gonna go out and spend the money, most likely, on a range finding scope. I think just the cost and the value's not quite there yet, right? I think very soon it will be, because I think you have Killer Instinct put out one.
So I believe that Killer Instinct is partnering up with Max View Optics, if I remember correctly, for theirs. But they're getting into the game as well with these range finding scopes.
You've got different companies coming out with these now, right? You got Garmin has one, and then you got the Burris, and you got the Buck Bander guys putting out the I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but the Buck Ops. Jeez, can't believe I forgot that. So you're getting more people that are out there putting these products into the market, and I think as the cost goes down, we'll see more crossbow hunters getting these. But for now, I'm pretty happy with my pretty plain just rifle scope on these crossbows, right? Most of them are plenty good for 20, 30, 40 yards even. And as I have stated before, I'm not shooting over that, and I can know my distances because I'm on private land, right? So that is a big help. Ultimately, it just comes down to each hunter's choice, right? What do you as a hunter want? If you want to spend more money, go for it, right? I've talked about that before. If you want the expensive 10-point bows because you think they're better, and they may be, go for it. If you have the money, it's your money. Buy what you want, right? But for me, as an average consumer, yeah, it is just not something that I'm looking at, I guess, right off the bat. You know, if someone wanted to send me one, of course I'd try it. I mean, who wouldn't? But am I going to go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a range finding scope? Probably not. And I don't think you have to either. But if you want to, go for it, right? For me, they're just not there yet. They're huge. At least the Oracle is. That thing is really big. I just don't want all that on my crossbow yet. And you know, that's where like Death by Bungie and I differ, right? He loves them. I'm good without him. But it's just a short video. I'd like to hear your thoughts. You know, if you have used one, what do you think? You know, are they as good as a lot of people say they are? Or if you're on the fence, why might you get one or why might you not? I'd like to hear your thoughts, guys. You know, during this cold season and end of hunting season, yeah, you got to find something to talk about, right? So let's talk about these range finding scopes. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, maybe we can have more discussion after this. We'll catch you on the next one.
Guys, I just wanted to quick jump in here as I'm finishing editing this up and say, if I had to pick one right now, like pick a new scope, I would have liked to say I'd pick the Buck Ops, right? But the reason I say that is because not necessarily the price, but because of their imaging technology, right? That low light technology that they call prime time here. You can see it behind me there. So the prime time scope. but they don't have that with the range finding technology from what I'm seeing on their website. So the reason that I would pick one of these scopes is actually because of Mike, who I hunted with before, right? Uh, Someone like Mike, who already has trouble seeing because he's handicapped, uh, they're done hunting so much earlier than you or I might be done hunting, right? Because with Mike, he can't see that good to begin with. So then once it just barely starts to get into lower light, he can't see those deer as good as you and I could through the scope. So to have a prime time scope for Mike would be amazing because then he's seeing it clearly still. Even better would be if prime time was mixed with the range finding, but I don't see that yet on their site. But so it's not a range finding scope, but if I was going to pick one to buy, I'd actually pick the Buck Ops prime time scope. One, I could record his hunt better, and two, he could see better. And that's what I want to put on my crossbow. Not even for me, but to help him out more as hopefully next year he gets more hunting opportunities. So I just wanted to close the video out with that. I had another little clip that kind of reminded me that I wanted to say that. That prime time stuff, man, that would be so good for Mike. So I might have to look into getting him one of those on my old right there on my old Game Crusher for him. So guys, thanks for checking this out. If you can, just subscribe. Trying to grow the channel, trying to get more crossbow companies interested in me testing these things out for you guys because they're expensive and the more reviews you can watch before you purchase, the better, right? We'll catch you on the next one.